everybody. Hey, oh my gosh, look, I got my guest. Oh, it's not a secret anymore. I have their Instagram thing inside there. All right, so hey, welcome to the show, Will Robertson, of course. Instagram on here, you can see me as Will Roberts Official. On the show, if you want to see it, you click, or you're probably watching it right now. You can see us on YouTube. You can see us on two different Facebooks. We have an actors page, like 17 or 18,000 people. We've got mine, and we also have Twitch, and we have Twitter, which is mine, Will Robert. I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter. If you're watching this, I appreciate you watching the show, Film Festival Live. Myself and my partner Sal, who I know is watching, is always doing that. He's in the East Coast, so we're kind of like we're by coastal. Anyway, and what we're doing is we're, of course, doing film festivals and all of the film festivals that we have in our database, which is like 8,000 to 10,000. And I can tell you honestly, growing every single day. Every time I turn around, we're getting a new email going, hey, we've got a film festival that's shot through dirty underwear or whatever. There's so many film festivals out there. It's just not even funny, but it is a good thing because we started this because got tired of watching film festivals in the backseat. Now, I got to tell you, I think film festivals might be in the driver's seat in some cases because some good stuff's coming out and people producing stuff off their iPhones or what, by the way, I'm on Instagram, on their iPhones or whatever it happens to be. It's all storytelling. It's all important. And from an acting standpoint, we finally, because I started in like 81, we can finally get and have control, a little bit of control over our own destinies, as it will be. So today I'm very excited to have my guest on. I'm going to see if I check everything else. I'm okay. We're good. Yeah, today's guest, I'm very excited. It was kind of an accident. I'm going to turn off my Instagram. Everybody go to my profile. I'm tired of watching this. So bottom line is that last night I had made a comment about something I did yesterday. I had like 3 auditions, which is cool because I came back from doing like 3 or 4 days of shooting 2 different projects. And when I came back, I had 2 really good auditions and one that was a commercial audition. And the commercial audition was me getting into clown face because I've been a professional clown for like, I don't know, 150 years. And I had to do a commercial audition where I literally had 2 or 3 words for a very big product, but they needed it and they explained it saying, but we need you in face. I'm like, I don't think you get what it takes to get into face. So I did a little something, something. And one of my followers, and I'm following him, I'm going to make sure you understand that, is that Billy Gallo. And I'm very excited. The actor, producer, he does a lot of things. We're going to talk to him in just a second. He's sitting in the green room. He can't hear me. He's awesome. Maybe he can't hear me. It doesn't matter. Point is that he said, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, what a great guest Billy would be. I know he does his own podcast. He does a lot of stuff. He's a veteran like me, actor. And so I'm very excited to talk to him. I said, hey, we're just going to riff, dude. And he's like, cool, let's do it. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring you in to this very exciting part. And we'll have other stuff here in the show I'll talk about. But this is the show for people who shoot, edit, direct, produce, an actor. And we're going to give you real shit, okay? Because I'm tired of actors not understanding something really important. The word show business has the word business in it. And so many actors I know don't have a clue about that. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. So without that being, moving on, let's go into something to show you a little bit about Billy so you can go, oh, yeah, oh, I love him. There you go.
Don't come any closer, down on your knees.
Fuck you, man. What are you gonna do?
Do I look like I'm fucking joking with you?
Yeah, that's what you look like, a fucking joke to me.
I know this man. I know this man.
Get back!
Fuck off. Give me some space. I know this guy.
Get out of the
You
way!
don't fucking know me.
Step away!
Lower your firearm. Lower your firearm.
This man better be related to you by blood.
Maybe he's just sweating over our best player.
Thanks, bro, but you still got game mode, man.
Yeah, at least my Jimmy still works. But you, bro, you were born to play point.
Not born, just taught by a pretty cool coach.
I'm telling you, try out again. So you took a year off. They could use you at point.
I'm not into this shit anymore. I'm tired of people telling me what to do. Alright?
All right. I'm gonna shut up. I just like having you back out here, bro. It's good to have you back.
We had an understanding. What's the matter? Cock out your tongue?
Only a dreamer would expect a blind hunting dog to stop barking or drooling.
I see everything, punk. And even a blind dog can smell shit in his own backyard. It's just you and me. But you still better think hard. What does the script say, Hollywood? I can't recall. You'll love being...
All right. I know we can keep going. I'd love to do that. Billy, welcome to the show, brother. Very glad to have you here.
Will, it's my honor. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. You know, first of all, I have to tell you, I'm a little upset because you're outdoing my studio by your studio having real chairs. That's not a. At first, when I watched one of your things, I'm like, damn, that is some good green screening, but that's legit.
These are real seats.
Or that one is, and you're faking. No, wow, yeah, damn, 2 real seats at least. That's awesome. Great. First of all, tell me about this. Where'd you get the seats?
So, was it 2014? I decided to build my school here in Manhattan Beach, and I had a vision of this studio. I've had a lot of different theaters over the years, and I built a theater in Hollywood in the early '90s, Melrose and Heliotrope, called the Space Theater. And then, I've always wanted to, have my perfect little studio. And I had a vision of this studio, and I came in here with a sledgehammer and I knocked down walls and I built this place from scratch. So everything you see came, these 2 hands. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. It wasn't these 2 hands. I was in here by myself for about a month building this place, and I was like, how am I going to build this place? How am I going to build these, the seats and all this stuff, And a friend of mine who's a stuntman, his name is Andy Dillon. He's a veteran stunt guy, and he said, I'm coming to town. I'm going to see you on Saturday. I'll help you out. And he shows up on Saturday with like a dozen stunt guys, 3 trucks, power tools, everything, and literally banged out the risers in a day. So, I thank you, Andy, stunt guys out there who helped build this space. But, the seats I got from an old theater in an acting school in North Hollywood. Brad Pitt sat in those seats.
Oh, wow.
So they got a lot of history. They got some holes in them, some gum underneath. But, that's what makes them, they're legit. They're legit theater chairs.
Yeah. So you do have them raked, right? It looks like
They go up.
Wow. And do you have fly space in case we want to do a musical?
But I could figure something out.
I bet you do. You got enough stunt friends. So, all right, let's go back. I mean, I think you answered one of my first questions. I always kind of like to ask is, what's the origin? Did you start off as a commercial actor? Did you start off in theater? What was it? What was the first thing that you went, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
Oh, that's a tough one. When I was 11 years old, they were filming a movie in my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I was a little kid and I was coming home from the park, and I saw these cameras and trucks parked on my block, and I was like, what's going on down the street? So I ran down the street and I ran up to Morgana King, who played Marlon Brando's wife in The Godfather.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And she says, we're making a movie. I go, well, how do you get in a movie? I want to be in a movie. So she showed me a picture and resume. I ran home. I took a Polaroid picture of myself, wrote some stuff down on paper. I had done stuff in school. I played Elvis Presley in a school play, and I had my little routine. So I wrote all that stuff on my resume, and I went down the street. I handed her my picture and resume. She got a kick out of it. She gave it to the director. The director said, "Go home, kid. Get your parents. We're going to stick you in a movie." And they needed kids background. Play stickball. Yeah. And I ran home, Mom, they're going to stick me in a movie. And she goes, you don't know what kind of movie this filming down, that you stay in the house, And I was like, she didn't believe me. So I ran home. I grabbed the director by the arm. I dragged him to my house.
Wow.
And he said, we're Universal Pictures. We're going to be camped on your block, where they built a bungalow where they had all the interior locations. And they lived on my block for a month. So that we're going to be filming here. And we want to have you put your son in the film. And my mother was like, and I said, we're going to pay him. She goes, you're going to pay him. So now I show up to set. I'm an extra. I'm a background, and I show up. There was a young actor by the name of Glenn Scarpelli. He was a lead in the project. He played opposite the lead character David Proval.
Yeah.
When I showed up to set, he wasn't there that day, and me and him looked identical. So everybody thought I was him. So they gave me the star treatment. They gave me the chair.
Wow.
Hey, what can I get you anything? And I just played along. Yeah, Glenn, that's me.
Yeah.
And that's when I got bit by the acting bug. Like, that's when I knew I wanted to do this professionally. And then a year later, they were filming Saturday Night Fever in my neighborhood, and I watched John Travolta,
Wow.
do the stunt with the Barracuda Club and a car crashing through, and this great fight scene. And I was, to like 4 a.m. with my sisters watching him film, and I was like, the girls were. It was madness, because he was Vinnie Barbarino. I grew up watching him back Carter, and all of a sudden Vinnie Barbarino's on my block, like 3 blocks away filming, and it was pandemonium. The girls were screaming, fainting, and I remember knocking on his trailer door, and I gave me an autograph, and the girls mob that came in, it was madness, and I was pushed away, and I watched this madness, and I said, that's what I'm gonna do. I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Wow. And so, yeah, I mean, let's just ask the real question. Did your parents go, I don't think so, when you said, I think this is what I want to do?
Yeah, nobody believed in my dream. Nobody. My whole life, everybody I told my dream to, they laughed at me. They told me it couldn't be done.
Know that one. Yeah.
What?
I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't there wasn't a lot of support there. I come from a rough childhood. I come up from the streets of Brooklyn. My mother was a single parent. There was a lot of stuff that happened as a child. We were poor. She was trying to raise 3 kids on the mean streets of Brooklyn. So there was a lot of stuff, and acting was like a pipe dream. Everybody, even when I was like, at one point I ran away from home when I was 15. I had a tough childhood, and I started running the streets in New York, and I looked up to guys in the neighborhood, wise guys, and I thought that was going to be the life for me. And then I saw one of my idols that I grew up idolizing on the streets. I saw him get shot in the head in front of me 5 times, and I knew, wait a second, this is not the life for me. So I got in trouble from dean, the guidance counselor, and they brought me down there. He wanted to talk to me. What do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be an. And the guidance counselor said, you need to go down to the lunchroom. They're doing a play. Go see Mr. Carucci. They're doing this play, and they were doing Grease.
Oh my God!
I went in and I got the lead role as Danny Zuko. Wow. That was the first time I was on stage in front of an audience. And, my friends, they'd be pulling up in a stolen car going, come on, jump in. And I go, no, I got to go to rehearsals. And they called me every name in the book, but the play sold out, standing room only. I was getting all the attention. Next year, all my juvenile delinquent friends, they did West Side Story. They were all like, na-na-na-na.
What? Did you do West Side?
No, I left because I was doing a play. I got cast in a play at the Actors Studio, and that was at 16. I was like, I'm leaving. I'm going to New York to be in this play. And it was like a dream come true for me to I knew I wanted to do this, and then I got cast in that play. I was studying at Lee Strasberg at the time, and I went to my drama class, a teacher, and in high school, and I said I want to be an actor, and his advice to me was to forget about it, kid. So I mean. I just did a play, sold out. That's
job.
So, long story short, when I had my own TV series on, Fox on Saturday nights at 8:00, and I had a movie premiering at that theater that I used to sneak into that I was starring in, my limo driver said, hey, where do you want to go? And I said, take me to my high school. And my limo pulled up to the high school, and I just I hung there for a little while. And then the word got out that my character was, the Booch was in town, and it was a mob scene, just like, Fever, Vinnie Barbarino. That's what I had become. I was on a TV series with Matthew Perry, and it was like crazy. I played like the Fonz on it, so there's a lot of screaming. So just picture a mob scene. New York City Police Department comes up. They escort me down to see Mr. Carucci. I bang on the door. He opens the door, and I go, "You remember me?" I go, Remember I asked you, I said I want to be an actor, and your advice was to forget about it, kid. Well, you can watch me every Saturday night at 8. Go to my movie premiere.
Wow. Okay, so back up. I have to tell you a couple of things. But first of all, we were kind of, as we were chatting on Instagram yesterday, we kind of went, we got some things in common. So, south side of Chicago, my mom, three boys, a bunch of alcoholic fathers. But then, interesting thing is, the first show I did in high school was Grease. I was Duty.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the next show I did was West Side Story, and I played Baby John.
I love it.
So yeah, so same thing, grew up very, I always make the joke. My parents moved. Well, one of my parents moved. We moved like 15 times before I was 10, and people would go, "Oh, is your dad military?" I say, "No, bad checks." Funny but true. But same sort of thing is that and I want to ask you with that is that do you think that helps you? I mean, look, you can go Uta Hagen, you can go anything you can go anybody and get educated. But my question to you is that your real life experiences, do you think that helps you as much as the education that you got?
Absolutely. I draw upon that all the time. And I tell my actors all the time, everything that's ever happening to you in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything is gold as an actor, and you have that life experience, and you take from that, you draw from that. So you're not acting, you're substituting, you're personalizing, you're taking your truth, your soul, and handing it over. And I think that's seriously what changed. It's a game changer because you're not acting, you're just being truthful. Like I don't teach acting here at my school. I teach truth. I don't want to see anybody act.
No.
What do you have? Where's your stuff? Where's your stuff? Take that and be vulnerable and expose that through the character. And that's when the audience feels you because you're not acting. You're grounding yourself in a real place. I'm really talking to my mother in the scene. I'm in my kitchen, my that I grew up in, and I'm fighting for a real need, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Everything that happens to you, in my career, I've played a lot of different characters. I've been very blessed, but I've played guys that I grew up with in my own neighborhood.
Right.
I pulled from all of that,
Yeah, and you know what? You bring up another interesting subject is that I was talking to one of my friends. She's an actress and pretty well known, and I said, "Yeah, I got a bunch of these commercial auditions," and in the last month and a half, I booked 3 nationals. I'm like on a roll with it. Yeah, but hey, it ain't 1985 or 1990, okay? So the residuals that used to be are like because they run it 4,000 times on cable and you get 2 cents a run. Point I want to make is that she made the comment and she goes, "Well, I go, "Are you doing any commercial stuff?" She goes, "Yeah, I don't do that. It's not really acting." I'm like, "Hold up." Something that I think actors need to understand is it's a great training ground is that if you don't think commercials are acting, I have bad news for you. Back in the 90s, and let's go backwards, we wanted guys to go like, "I'm a used car salesman. I'm gonna be doing," and that's it. And they go, they cast someone in a commercial to be like that. It was kind of like farcy. Now what they do is they say, "Don't act. We're looking for someone who actually does." Who is an amputee. We're looking for someone who is this, because what they want to do, and they know that advertisers have to do this, is they need real people reaching out and going, "I'm just like you." And if you don't give them that and you're going, "I'm just like you," then they're going to go, boom, you're going to lose millions and billions of dollars on ads. What do you think about commercials?
Well, I was one of those actors, I came out in 84. So, and I was, a theater actor from New York. When I came out here, I was like, yeah, I don't do commercials.
That's nice.
I saw Robert De Niro in a commercial. Then I was like, De Niro's doing it's okay. I can do it. But, I was, a theater actor from New York. I saw myself as a serious actor. I never thought commercials. But then I saw a friend of mine buying a house, this big ass house. And I'm like, "How are you buying this house?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, I got like 5 national commercials running right now." And I was like, "Well, shit, maybe I need to start doing some commercials," And, I had a amazing, I was on TV. I was on a, series at the time when I said, maybe I should open this door up. And I did. And I opened up that door and I started booking commercials left and right.
Yeah.
it was amazing because it really afforded me, I have a beautiful 14-year-old son, but when he was born 14 years ago, I was at home with him for the first 3 years of his life. My wife had her 9 to 5 at the time, and those residuals, they were the good residuals, those A
Oh
class.
yeah.
I would get some ridiculous checks, and I had 5 running at the same time. So, life was good, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so, any actor out there who says they don't do commercials, I think you're closing off a huge revenue stream.
Yeah.
You want to have, voiceover work. You want to have commercials. You want to have everything. All of the revenue streams open to you, so you can really make some money. So you don't have to do that waiter's job. You don't have to do that bartending job because you're collecting money as an actor.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I go, I've never been, well, I was a waiter one day and they went, you're amazing and people love you, but you're not getting the food to the table. We're going to make you the host. And I'm like, cool, I'm the host. But I can honestly say I've never been a waiter and I've never been a bartender. Any thoughts? Have you ever been a waiter or a bartender?
Well, so let me see. When I first came out to Hollywood in 1984, I came out with $200 in my pocket and a one-way ticket. That $200 ran out real fast. What am I gonna do now, right? So I found somebody told me about a newspaper. It was called a Recycler. It had like ads in it, like
Oh, yeah.
room. So I found a woman who had a room for rent. She was an older woman. She had a broken leg. She needed somebody to take out the trash or whatever.
Wow.
So rent, it was $100, but it was in Van Nuys. Now, I don't know anything about Hollywood, California, but so I was like $100. So I talked her into a deal where I said I had a job as a waiter, but I didn't. And I said when I get paid on my first paycheck, I'll pay you like I give you like every week. I'll give you a little money. So she took the deal. So I was like, shit, I got to find a waiter's job. So on Ventura, but I was banging around trying to find a waiter's job, and I had a broken leg at the time. I had cut my cast off before coming out. So
Oh, wow.
And I didn't get a waiter job. I got a busboy job, but that busboy job was, what kept me afloat. It gave me that to pay the rent, so I had a place to live, so I can actually go out and look and pursue, try to find an agent. But
Sure.
I've been blessed. I really haven't had to do, that waiter, bartender. I bartended. I bartended for a half a second at Tony Danza's brother's restaurant on Melrose. And I was the bartender, but I was doing magic. So the people would come in just to see the magic, and the owners loved me because I grew up on the streets of Brooklyn. I learned how to hustle real fast, on the streets. I was good with cards and manipulate. I could take your watch off your wrist to your. I had a gift for that, so I really truly developed that. And just like you're a magician. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I paid my rent for a lot. In those times, acting's a roller coaster ride. It's feast or famine. Sometimes, when I was broke and I got to make some money, I would throw on my tuxedo on. I'd load up. I'd have I was I was just a magician. So, I did a lot of impromptu stuff, but I had birds. I produced a dove out in the club and I cut it in half and made 2 doves.
Oh, you're killing me, dude.
I was doing some, serious magic. And, I found that I could put on and play the part of the magician. And I was still acting because I was playing the role of the magician, but I'd hit up every VIP room, every, restaurant. And
Tips, baby.
I literally, there was one time I made $1,000 in cash,
Yeah.
going out and having a good old time and doing magic. But I was smart. What I did is I did a lot of money manipulation.
Oh,
I would
sure.
borrow $100 bill. Anybody got $100 bill? And then I would take that $100. I'd levitate it. I'd tear it apart. I burn it. And then I turn it into 250s. And then I'd go like this. Here's your 50, and they would like keep it.
Wow.
That goes,
yeah.
So they were all a lot of money tricks. And it paid. I didn't have to do the waiter job.
I'm loving this conversation, first of all, because I really think somehow in our DNA we might be connected, because it looks like we kind of did the same route. So I wound up back when I was towards the San Francisco area. I was poor as, You're like, I'm in my car going, oh my God. And I was a professional clown. I was a magician. I did this stuff specifically because I knew I didn't have an education personally and I needed to do something. So I went to the El Choritos, the Applebee's, the whatever, 3 places I went and I go, look, I'll do balloons and strolling magic. All right. I'm going to be like this. And then we go table to table. Number one reason I did that is I wanted to be really, really, really good at improv. And I knew that I had to go to a table with a dad and a couple of kids and a mom. And instead of making fun of the dad, I made fun with the dad. And I'll tell you what, right there, when you do that and then you bust out and you're doing tricks and you end up with a balloon, I was making $300 a night. Plus, they were feeding me. Then I'd go in the back with the dishwashers and the cooks, and they amigo, let's play. And we would do this coin thing where we had you have 3 coins in it. You put down money. Anyway, I would be doubling my money because we were doing this gambling, and I'd walk out in a weekend and make $1,000. And you know, as a struggling actor driving back and forth to San Francisco since I was 2 hours away, same thing as you're saying. But what I want to drive home is that skills. You in this day and age. I mean, I was back in the day when I was sitting in theater going, oh, I don't stage manage. I don't do tech. I'll be in my dressing room. Where's my red M&Ms? And the point is that, and the directors would go, oh, you're brilliant, but, your attitude. Well, then when you find out in this day and age that we have so much control over what we do, I'm telling you, and you know this, but the odds are you're going to get more work if you have more skills, right?
Absolutely. I tell my actors that all the time, especially if you're starting out as a young actor and you don't have a lot of experience, your special skills will get you into a door.
Yeah.
I love about you is you got a shitload of special skills.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a magician, you're the rope. I mean, you got some serious skills. And I know for a fact, I've seen your stuff, that these special skills have gotten you work.
Oh, yeah.
So I tell my actors all the time, really develop your special skills because, look, I have an actor that I met at my pool, okay? And, he had a dream and, he had no idea how to get started, but he's got a special skill. He's a bodybuilder.
Okay.
But that's a special skill. So they're looking a bodybuilder for a protein bar commercial or a football player or whatever, he's getting into the door just because of that special skill.
Yeah.
I have a young that, she's got not a lot of experience, but she got into a Super Bowl commercial because they were looking for an actress that played the piano and sang. Now, her special skills got her a self-tape. That self-tape got her the part. I can tell dozens and dozens of stories of actors that have no experience, but that is what got them into the door of a commercial, which got them Taft-Hartley into this Screen Actors Guild, and now they're working actors. So developing your special skills is super important. I mean, I know for me, my special skills, I'm a martial artist.
Right.
So what has that done for me? Well, I got to fight Chuck Norris in Walker, Texas Ranger, Sammo Hung in martial law. I'm a boxer, so I got to box with Pamela Anderson on VIP. These special skills help me get into the door. So you want to develop those. Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting, really quick story is I tell people this all the time is that don't just think of your special skills as like, hey, I baton spin, so put me in front of the camera. Here's a case in point. I get called all the time because I'm a weapons expert and whips and all this other stuff that I do. I tell people I specialize in unconditional weapons, which is true. But I get a lot of calls from films. Like, for instance, recently there was a film called The Redeemer, which I shot for 3 weeks, and I was a secondary bad guy with Tim V. Murphy. And, the bottom line is that I was his coach. And they said to me, the director said, hey, I want you to teach him how to do this and that with the guns, and we'll pay you your $250 an hour. I'm like, great. So I go, but I need you to do me a favor. And he goes, what's that? I go, I need you to consider me for the film. And he goes, oh, okay, well, show him how to do this. Okay, good. So I did it, and I put it on Instagram, and he goes, I won't swear like you did. But he goes, oh, my God, dude, you're amazing. Oh my God. So, what if I wrote a role in for you? I'm like, do what you need to. Well, consequently, the secondary lead dude, the bad guy, decided that, well, apparently his manager was giving a problem. So they replaced him with me and basically said, so I now am the bad guy. I cracked a tooth and all kinds of other stuff because I like to do character stuff. But one more thing is that I did a film in Brazil for 46 days called O Matador. And I told everybody that calls me about the teaching people, you have to look at my demo and cast me. And they go, well, that's ballsy. I went, you need me more than I need you. And you know what? Danny Trejo was supposed to play this role that I played in The Killer. And I play the secondary guy that follows the lead guy around the whole film with knives, machetes. I spin everything and I'm killing everybody. And all of that is because I said, oh, I'll coach. Absolutely. And as a martial artist and you're doing what you're doing, it's just vitally important that you don't think about just being on the screen, but you business wise, you got to think about what you can do to, cleverly. Don't beg, don't do that kind of crap, but figure out what you can do to get yourself in front of the people that matter.
I think that's great advice, and your attitude about you need me more than I need you. I mean, that's the attitude to have. A lot of actors they put the casting people, the producers, they put all
Grovel.
like their shit don't stink.
They
But
grovel. They grovel.
yeah, but you got to own who you are. You got to stand in your power and go, you know what? This talent was given to me. I mean, I truly believe that it's a God-given gift. It was either given to some people can do other things. Some people can twirl guns. You got a shitload of talent. You were given a talent for a reason. So this is your talent. Not everybody has it. It's your talent, and you get it if you couldn't succeed at it. It's your mission. It's your obligation to take that light and shine that light. So if you're coming from this is my path, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, then you can really come into a room just kind of shining your light and owning who you are. And this is, you're welcome. That was my attitude coming into the room. Because, after you see me, you can tell all the other guys to go home because I'm doing your job for you, right? You got a problem. Oh, you don't know who the guy is? Well, tell you what, I know who he is. I've done the work. I've out prepped, out choice, out everything. Those other actors, they don't even know their last name or where they grew up. I do. I did a project last night. I know who my character is. I know what my character has in their pockets. I know more about the character. You're welcome. I done all the work. So, having that preparation, it gives you confidence when you walk into the room. You don't have to say a word. The other actors will see it. The wardrobe of the character, the hair, the walk, the accent, whatever, you're bringing that character into the room and you're showing them. And that's how you change people's minds because they think they know what they want until you walk in the room and they go, oh, that's what I want.
So let me ask you, would you consider yourself a method actor? I'm absolutely, without a doubt, I would say I am. I mean, I'm the guy that's going to go sort of like externally inside, and I'm going to give you what you. What about you?
Absolutely. I take pride that I'm a method actor. I train hard to be a method actor. Being at Strasbourg and the actor studio, though, that's the method, and that's truly, my actors are, Robert De Niro, Raging Bull, his transformation, Jake LaMotta, or Taxi Driver. These guys had made a transformation. They became like De Niro, become a cab driver. He drove a cab to, got his hack license. Now, for me, I'm the same way. If I'm going to play a role, I'm going to do my research. I'm going to become that character, and I've been blessed. I've played every kind of role you can possibly imagine. But, if I'm playing a New York City police officer, I'm doing ride-alongs with the New York City Police Department. I'm doing with the LAPD. If I'm playing a Navy SEAL, I'm training with the Navy SEALs. If I'm playing a firefighter, I'm running around the firehouse. If I'm playing a paramedic, I'm in the ambulance. I want to find that real behavior, human behavior. I want to find the details that nobody else knows. That's the research for me. Like I'll ask that officer, why are you wearing that little rubber band around your keys right there? Because I saw that on the other police officer. He says, well, if you're coming up on a bad guy in the alley late at night, you don't want your keys jingling, jangling, right? So, when I, as an actor, I'll go to the prop department, I said, I need a rubber band. I'm putting my rubber band. the cops that are watching that are going to go, that's real, that's real, that's real, that's real.
Very good point. As a matter of fact, and I want to bring this up is that a lot of times you see actors and you look at things, and I'm going to bring up specifically police and any kind of military or anything because as a weapons guy, it's funny when you see people grab weapons, and I'm like, never ever grabbed a weapon before because you can tell by the way you're holding that. Yeah, thank you, Cowboys in the Hood. And you're watching them, and then you see that, or riding a horse, or any of these other things, tactical stuff. They don't, and you look at it, and unfortunately, the problem is that when you're watching something like that, it discredits a movie or a series, and it makes you go, well, obviously they didn't have a budget because and the actors aren't really dedicated. How much time do you need to put into into the lines as opposed to how much you need to put into the prep work that you do? So, with that being said, when you're teaching your people in your awesome studio that I'm jealous about, your stage area, do you talk about prepping before? What's your thoughts about all that?
It's all about preparation. That's it. That's it. Preparation. If you fail to prepare, you've prepared to fail.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared. You have to, have to, have to. If you're worried about what's my next line,
Yeah.
you can't. If you're in your head, you're dead. If you're
Yeah.
in your heart, if you've done the work and now you're in play mode and I'm having fun. I'm here to play. I love acting. Guess what? I have an audience today. You're gonna watch me act. I'm playing. It's Halloween, trick or treat. I got the costume on. I got the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup, whatever, and I'm in play mode. So it's truly all of those choices. The preparation. Talent lies within your choices. The bigger, the bolder, the stronger your choices. The more prepared you are, the more fun you're gonna have.
Yeah.
The more it's gonna be real. Listen, I love preparation. I've lived so lives. I've trained with Harry Humphreys with the Marines. I've trained with SWAT. I've done room. So I know how to use my. I've trained. I've gone to the gun range with SWAT, and so you get to live so many lives as an actor, and they're all part of me because I am a method actor, and every time I take on a role, it's me. It's part of me.
Yeah.
And all the training, I've been blessed. I've trained with everybody you can imagine.
Sure.
And it's all great life experience. It's stuff that you have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that is a really great. What you're saying is great. One thing I want to say is that when I was doing the role of Will Rogers, because I did Will Rogers Follies, one of the things I learned a long time ago when I did this is that if you've ever tried trick roping or roping, it's the most difficult things out of everything that I do, and I do a lot of shit. But the point is that in order for you to become free enough to spin the rope, because it's all physics, you have to spend so much time. And it's a great lesson in acting is that the more that you grab this, and I'll just say for a gun, and or the more you ride and you're not concerned about that. Same thing with the lines. The less likely you are to have a glitch in the reality that you're creating for people on screen. Because when you do these things, and if you go, you're looking unsure, then they're going to go, oh, you lost my belief. You did. And then the other part about it is that where else in the world, hey, if you're not going to make a lot of money in a career, maybe an actor, I do well and you do well. But the point is that if you're not, why not get these really cool skills and you're great at a party, I bet. Because you can have conversations with anybody at a party. And literally from someone military to someone that's maybe baking a cake. The point is that all these things help that flow go the way it should.
Love that. Flow go.
Listen, do you have a couple more minutes? I want to take a small break and come back and ask you about the coaching stuff a little more.
Absolutely.
All right, hang tight. So our guest today, Billy Gallo, I'm very excited that he came on. Very excited. I'm going to show you a clip that about Billy and his coaching, but it's his wife interviewing him. I'm going to do a little bit of showing about this, but at the end of it, I'm going to tell you where you can go see it, and you can see it, and maybe I'll show a little bit more. But I want to talk about that. But first of all, before we do that, thanks for coming on and seeing the show. If there's any questions, I have the app up. If anybody has any questions for myself or Billy, of course, for Billy, then absolutely do that. I want to tell you about a system. It looks just like this. It's called Line. A good friend of mine out of New York, he has a system that is phenomenal. Jared, he also has a podcast, and Jared is probably one of the most amazing acting coach slash what can I tell you? The guy knows so much about different things. And it's not a traditional thing that he does. So like Billy and what he does, I want you all to go to him for sure. But what I'm telling you about here is this line method that this gentleman does, which in essence, if you've done any research on Mind Palace, Sherlock Holmes Mind Palace. It's about anchoring and looking and having things that images in your room and being able to attach your lines to it. It's amazing. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to memorize like a 4 or 5 page script with this thing in about 20 minutes. And I'm telling you, it's a phenomenal thing. I want you to check it out. I'll put this information in the actual the post, because after this, it becomes a story on filmfestivallive.com. One more thing I want to bring to your attention is a good friend of mine in LA. If you happen to have any sort of like cop or first responder needs at all, I have my own police squad car. David Hill, he has uniforms, he has props, he has SWAT vans, he has weapons, he has everything. You should go to 4movierentals.com and just mention, of course, Will Roberts, and he can get you anything, whatever you want, okay? So with that being said, let's take a look at this thing. I want you to see this and watch this.
I am super excited to do this podcast. Today's going to be a little different for you listeners out there. I asked my wife the other day, I said, I need to find a new guest for the show. And she said, well, I have an idea. Why don't you be the guest and I will interview you? So that's what this podcast is all about. It's about me, your host, Billy Gallo. And I want to welcome my beautiful wife, the founder of Manhattan Model Studios, my soulmate, my life partner, the air that I breathe, the food that I eat, the wind beneath my wings, my everything, my beautiful wife, Diana Gallo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my second time.
Yes, it is.
So exciting. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to interview you because you know what? Your guests, they get to talk about themselves. You interview them, but nobody has interviewed you on this show.
That is true.
And you have a lot of experience, a lot of expertise. So it's my turn to interview you. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
I got to say, I'm a little nervous. I don't know what's coming.
And with the good.
Okay.
Okay, as much as I would love to keep showing that, I would, because first of all, your wife is adorable and she's very funny. And I love watching her respond as you're saying what you're saying, and you respond as she's saying what she's saying, and you responding off camera that I can see while she's saying what she's saying. So all this is really great stuff. And I have to tell you, it is great to be in the industry and have someone that really appreciates what you're doing. Because look, I remember having a relationship before. I've been married for 14 years now. My wife, same thing. I will say the same thing. The air I breathe, the wind. By the way, if I walked out of my house without checking with her on what I'm wearing and what I'm doing, I usually bump into walls. I made up a phrase when I was doing a humorous thing for about 6 years, and I was writing, and that is, behind every great man is a woman in front of him with his car keys and directions so he doesn't get lost. And the fact of the matter is that same thing. If you can find someone in this industry that you can be a partner with, I just got goosebumps, that understands you, that gets it. It's just a whole wonderful thing. Am I right?
Absolutely. Like, I'm the president of the Lucky Club.
No, I am.
I know.
I'll fight you for it.
model wife. She's pretty on the inside. I mean, she's just an amazing woman and amazing mother and my best friend. And talk about supportive. I mean, she's been there with me. We've been together for 25 years.
Wow.
So been there through the ups, the downs. We've been through the trenches together. So she's got my back and I got hers. And I'm super proud of her, what she's accomplished. I mean, here's a woman who had her 9 to 5 job, but she still had this dream about doing this modeling, had no idea how to become a model or whatever. And she carved her own path, and she's been on the cover of magazines and commercials and music videos. And, she's had like an amazing career. I mean, there was times like, I remember I was, during the strike, they were hiring, non-union actors for a thing, and she like booked a Dr. Pepper commercial. She made like $25,000, and I was like, "What? This is on a non-union commercial. You just made $25,000." So I mean, she knows what she's doing, and when I built this studio, the Manhattan Actor Studio. I've had people come and knock on my door and they want to do the modeling or the commercial part of it. And, I know the commercial part, but the modeling thing, that's not my cup of tea. But my wife, that's what she does. So we created the Manhattan Model Studio. So we share the studio. This is the Manhattan Actor Studio. Right through that door is the Manhattan Model Studio. She's got a beautiful studio. And, if you have a dream to become a model and you don't know how to get started, whatever, Manhattan Model Studios, Diana Gallo, my wife, she knows. I mean, she's amazing. She's helped so many people get in the industry and get representation. And, you couldn't find a better guide.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And by the way, I do put together a story, and we'll put that information. I'll get it from you later on because you know what? Look, when I started out, I wound up working with John Robert Powers 100 years ago. And I got to be honest with you. I was watching these kids, and they had me as the acting coach for commercials. And these kids came in, and their parents were spending thousands of dollars, and then they would do headshots from a guy named Bruce something, and they showed me. They go, "We just did the headshots, and they cost $1,000 each." I'm like, so they brought him to class, and I'm like, what in living daylights is this? It's just blown out. A kid that's like maybe 9 that looks like she's a hooker. I'm like, back in the 80s and 90s. And I'm like, what in? So I'm here to tell you that, acting has its thing, but modeling, if your wife is helping people understand how and what to do, is such a difficult world because it's so easy to get scammed. It's so easy to go in the wrong door. It's so easy to everything. So kudos to her. And we will definitely promote that as well because it's tough.
Absolutely. And that's why I built my studio because, as an actor, I've been doing this, I came out I got my SAG card in 1985.
Me too. Me too.
Long time. So I've been in this business and I've dealt with a lot of acting teachers, a lot of scams, a lot the way. I know I've carved my path through Hollywood. I know where the potholes are. I know stay away from that photographer. That agent's a scam. I know what the scams are because I've been in this business a long time. Yeah. So when I built this, it was to be the anti that. I wish there was somebody like me when I came out to Hollywood that could have pointed me in the right direction and said, "Hey, stay away from that agent. Stay away from that photographer. This is the path." So that's what I here. Manhattan Actor Studio is a one-stop shop. Like if you're an actor, you don't know I want to get started, you don't know how to get started. Well, what I do, I build you a demo reel here. This is a full-service studio. I have walls that roll out. I build sets, light it, film it, and figure out what your castability is and what you're selling to Hollywood because it is show business and you are a product and you got to know exactly what you're selling to Hollywood. If you don't know what you're selling, they don't know what they're buying.
Right. Okay. And you know what? Again, this is where I come back to the whole statement about show business. And I always tell people, because I get a lot, and I'm sure you do too. I get a lot of direct messages, people saying, "Oh my God, can you help me? I want to do this." And I did a film in a really, really big Disney film in Mumbai. And it got me like a billion followers, and they were asking me, "You think you can put me in a movie? You think you can?" And you get some of the weirdest questions, but the fact of the matter is that there is no easy way to do this. And yes, you could be an overnight success if you're 19 years old and Vampire Diaries. But the fact is that the more you learn, and what you're saying about what you do is such a key thing. And I definitely want to know. I got to tell people what's your website address for your coaching.
It's manhattanactorstudio.com.
Okay, we'll put that in the information and put a little blurb about it because you know I feel the same way. You know, I love learning, and I'm one of those firm believers that exponentially or experientially, that I think it's a wonderful thing to gather as much as you can, and also to be able to self evaluate yourself when you're doing things. But the fact is that there's a lot of nowadays the potholes are sinkholes. And you know, it's not just a bump; it take you in forever. And the good thing about you is that you've been doing it since you know, you've been SAG since '85, and you're still doing it. So you've adapted to the new world. Because look, Billy, you know, back in the day, we had maybe 100 people, 200 people that were going after something. Now it's 48 average. 25 to 4,800 people submit for things.
Sure.
That's some crazy odds. So knowing and showing what you do is very important. Last thing I want to ask you is that when you go through your training with people, is there levels? Is how do you do it? Is there, you know, can you join for a year, a month? How does it work?
Well, you know, I like to work with my actors, you know, individually, because I like to do a bit of an excavation. I gotta figure out what you got to work with. You
Okay.
know, what's your stuff? You know, you know, we talked about that you know, life experience, those highs, those lows, the good, the bad, all of that. I like to do an excavation and figure out, okay, what do you have to work with? This is your star power. And then I like to see, okay, what is this? This is a story, the limiting belief. This is some bullshit that you've been dragging around since your childhood. You know, let's get rid of that. Let's use that as fertilizer to plant the new seeds of the confident you, the fearless you, the unstoppable you. So, you know, I like to dig around, and then I like foundation of, you know, a character. You audition. Listen, you can be a great actor, but if you don't know how to audition, you're not going to get the part. You know, I learned very early on my first audition in Hollywood, which I booked, which was a guest star on a TV series called The Fall Guy, and you know, I literally stepped into my television because I grew up watching this guy Lee Majors on The $6 Million Man, and before I came out to Hollywood, I'd sit on my couch and look at the show about Hollywood and stuntmen behind the scenes, and I was like, I'm going to do that. And then, you know, when I did find that first agent in Hollywood, which was it was a chore, you know, I mean, this is 1984, you know, December. I'm literally, there's no GPS, there's no phones that, you know, I mean, it's like I had a map and I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard and banging on doors and they'd slam in my face and go, get lost, you know. And I went through the A's, the B's, the C's, no, 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 no. I finally found an agent at Y. The Now, I had to go through all those no's to get to a yes, but that yes got me into a room with this agent who I don't want to, he was a kind of a rinky-dink agent, you know, little, you know, one of those people I would say stay away from that guy.
Yeah.
I met him. He in his drawer he had a little bottle of tequila. He said, "You want a shot of tequila?" He had a stack of Polaroids with girls with their, you know. I'm like,
Wow.
I was walking out the door, and he said, "Wait! There's a show called the Fall Guy," and I went, "What?"
You got my attention.
And he said there was a role. It was a guest starring role. They were looking for a kid who the character's name was Billy. He was a bully who was bullying other kids to deal drugs. You know, and if they didn't deal drugs, he'd, you know, beat them up. And I was like, "You get me that audition, I'm going to get that part." And you know, I did. I went. I remember I was in Van Nuys. I had to take 5 buses to the 20th Century Fox. I show up to the Fox lot, and there's a bunch of actors in the lobby with leather jackets on, you know, trying to look like guys. And I had a diamond pinky ring that said Billy. I mean, I was literally off the streets of Brooklyn, so I literally put my fist in everybody's face, and I said, "What does that say?" "Billy, that's me. You can go home." And I literally told everybody to go home in the lobby. And then I get in with the casting director, and the scene is I'm threatening this kid. You know, let me tell you something about me. I'm either going to be your friend or your enemy, so it's up to you. And remember, you. So, but I didn't know anybody. I grabbed the casting director out of the chair, and I started spewing saliva. She was like, time out. Number one, she goes, "Never, ever, ever, ever put your hands on a casting director ever again." I said, "Oh." She goes, "Number two," she goes, "You're not leaving town, are you?" I go, "No, why?" She goes, "Because you got the part."
Oh,
She
wow.
goes, "Tell the other actors in the lobby because I got to read them out of courtesy." I said, "Oh, okay." I walked out into the lobby and said, "Go home. I got the part." No,
But you got it in the audition, dude.
never, and in my 35, 37 years in the business, that's never happened to me.
No.
But, I mean, I've known I booked a room before, but I never had to actually tell me in the room.
That's strong.
But here's the valuable lesson that I learned on that very first audition, and I've carried that with me throughout my career. Okay. One, I owned the lobby, right? I mean, as far as I was concerned, Billy was a bully. Billy, I owned the lobby. I was Billy. As far as I was concerned, these guys didn't have a shot.
Yeah.
I was Billy. So how do you do that as an actor? The work. What I teach my actors, how to out choice, out prep, out everything. Knowing who your character is, knowing, writing the biography for your character, making some big, bold choices. So when you come into the room, you don't have to say a word. Your choices are right there. They go, oh my gosh. I mean, I used to love when I'd be in an audition and, there'd be all the actors in the lobby and I'd walk in and they see me come in and they go like this.
Oh, yeah.
They knew I was going to get that part because I booked the movie before that and the TV show before that. So, they would get deflated just seeing me come in because I had my head shaved. I'm in the dog tags. I literally came in from, I was bringing the character into the door. So that's how you own the lobby. Okay. 2, in the room, what did I do with that casting director? Well, I made her feel something. The given circumstance of the scene was I was putting fear into another kid in order for him to deal drugs. Yeah. What did I do? Put fear into that casting director. She told me at the rap party, I said, why'd you give me the part? She goes, you scared the shit out of me, kid. Light bulb. Oh, wait a second. That's my job as an actor, is to make them feel. Yeah. So you got to look at the material and go, what am I supposed to make them feel in this? And make them feel that.
Yeah.
And that is, how you really own that room. And then the third one was, the casting director said I got the part. I walked out pretty confident, right? So walk out confident, right? Even if you had the worst audition of your life, you want to walk out confident because you're planting a seed into the head. An ounce of behavior is worth a pound of words. If I'm a casting director and I see that behavior, you're telling me you did good. Yeah. So you put all those elements together, you do the prep, you own that lobby, right? You bring that character into the room, you make them feel something, and then you walk out confident. And, more to it. But, that's the art of the audition that I found very early on. Mm-hmm. And I mean, look, I've booked Academy Award winning films, blockbuster films, hit TV, and I can tell you how I booked those roles because I know the choices I made in the room. Like Crash, right? Crash that won, a bunch of Academy Awards. I play an LAPD officer. You saw it in the beginning, right? Yeah. And that was, I have a gun on somebody. I'm telling them, like, step out of the vehicle. Let me see your hands and all that stuff. Well, I said, what am I supposed to make them feel? Well, I'm supposed to make them feel like they're going to have their head blown off, right? Well, how do I do that? Well, I can't bring a real gun in. I can't bring a pop gun in. No. I don't want to do this. Hey, get down on the ground. This is not what. So I said, okay. I had a black wallet, here, let me use, and I came out. Let me see. Get down on the ground. Let me see your hands.
Oh,
and
nice.
Black wallet out. I just treated it like a weapon, right? And when I put my wallet away, the casting director was behind the chair, and she said, that was the scariest wallet I've ever seen. It's accomplished. I knew by the time I got to the freaking parking lot, my agent was calling me, telling me I got that part.
Yeah.
I made it feels like to have a gun put on it.
Yeah. I'll just end this, and then I have one more question. But I'll end this by saying that one of the things I think I've learned in the 40 years of doing this is that confidence is a biggie. I mean, it's a biggie and obviously confidence comes from either you're out of your mind and you believe something that maybe isn't true, or you believe it because it's absolutely true and you're the best absolute choice for what you're doing at that moment. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things I see actors always, a lot of actors lacking. They don't understand. They don't have the confidence. They kind of go like this. And you're like, nope, it's the ones with the balls, male or female, that go in there that go, no, we're good, right? Let's do this. I know this is why you hired me. Because remember, when they bring you into a room and verify this is right, they bring you into a room, they brought you in because they believe that you might be able to do what they need you to do. They don't want you to be De Niro. They don't. If they wanted De Niro, they'll go get De Niro. They want you to be you, but they want you to have the confidence to know that you can do what they need, right?
Absolutely. You got to make big, bold, strong choices.
Yeah.
Boring. Stay home. You're wasting your time. That door may close on you again because you were just saying the words on the page, right? A casting director wants look good in front of the producers. So
Yeah.
if you're playing it safe, stay home.
Go home. Go home.
You're going to go into that room and you're going to make big, bold, strong choices. You're going to rock that room. And then it's not even about getting the part. It's about, I'm making a fan. That casting director has become a fan of my work because I didn't play it safe. I left a piece of my soul behind in that room, on that stage, in that self-tape, where they're going to, and it doesn't matter if I get the part or not. It truly is. This is about making fans. You have enough casting directors that are a fan of your work. They keep bringing you back in. Then it's just enough. Get that right audition, boom, and you make those big choices and you land the role.
You don't need every casting director and director. You just need enough to give you and make you go level wise. So last thing is that you're still acting. Yes?
Absolutely. So, I stopped going out on auditions because it's like, been there, done. My agent calls me up and he says, oh, yeah, they want you to do that. I'm like, I'm not interested. I have literally, I'm super booked. I got a waiting list right now. So I don't have time to go do, something that I've been there, done that. I got the t-shirt to prove it. I got the IMDb credits to prove it.
I got this bumper sticker.
I'm not, but for me, it's creating my own project. So, I'm in the process right now. I have a 1-hour drama that I'm producing. I have I'm doing a feature film on my life story, about a kid who had a dream from the streets of Brooklyn that, if everything could possibly go bad to the child does, makes a wrong turn, and, it's Bronx Tale, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And, that pivots him into Hollywood. And it's how a kid, from the streets of Brooklyn took on Hollywood and, won. It's funny is, I was, I'm in the process of writing a scene last night. And I was going through some old books and I found some letters from 20th Century Fox. So, when I came out, and this is a great story of how I got that, my TV series is what happened is they were looking for a surfer dude from Venice Beach that had a parrot on his shoulder. That's how they explained my character.
Okay.
That I did with Matthew Perry. Originally it was called Second Chance and it became Boys Will Be Boys. But when I read that script, I was like, nah. That's not me. I made it my own. Now, I grew up watching Vinnie Barbarino, right? Welcome Back, Kotter, and the Fonz. The Fonz was cool, leather jacket, snapped the girls came running. Vinnie was kind of a juvenile delinquent, not the brightest, he had a Brooklyn accent. I was like, I'm going to take this Vinnie Barbarino, and I'm going to take the Fonz, and I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to create the Booch. And the Booch was the Fonz of the 80s. So I brought in leather jacket, the perfect hair, the accent, the whole thing. And that's what I brought into the room. And I served it up for them and I said, yummy, yummy. You like that? And they went, tastes good. Yeah. And they, my own series. And I started the Fox Network because when I came out here, there was ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Right.
There was Fox Network. Oh. My show was on the air with Married with Children, 21 Jump Street, all those shows that started the Fox Network. So what happened is after, it was about a show that Matthew Perry played a kid who, it was about a guy who dies in the year 2011. He's not good enough to go to heaven and not good enough to go to hell. I had this whole weird little storyline. But I was the fifth banana on the show. I was the next door neighbor who got him in trouble. 13 episodes down the road, they canceled the show. And, I'm devastated. I had my own TV series, and all of a sudden it got canceled. It's funny because I saw that your opening has the Hollywood sign, right? And I was kind of down in the dumps at the time. So I climbed up to the Hollywood sign and I was on the O, just thinking, and shortly after that, Fox calls me up and says, listen, we want to, you're getting bags and bags of fan mail. And, that's what the audience, the test audience is saying they want to see more of you. So we want to create your own series. Wow. And we want called Boys Will Be Boys, and it's going to be you and Matthew Perry, and it's going to be the misadventures of you guys. And I was like, cool, I got my own show. But then they didn't want to pay me. They wanted they said my contract was in place from the old TV series. They just changed the name, but I was like, no, you're making me the lead. I knew Matthew Perry was getting paid more money because he was the lead on that show. So I found this letter while I was going, and it was a threatening letter from Fox saying, telling my agent, that they're going to create legal action and I'm not going to and this whole thing if I don't show up to work. And I said, the street kid in me said, you know what? Yeah. Tell me, take me to fucking court. That's what, take me to court. I said, I know what's right here. And I battled them for 3 months and they threatened. And I found the other letter 3 months later saying, okay, we're going to give him what he wants. You got a raise. It's about, I wasn't going to let anybody take advantage of me.
Sure.
I stood up for myself, and I knew what I wanted, and I went out and I got it. I went out there and so, it's about creating, it's those big choices that are going to make you change their mind. That's how you're going to become a working actor.
Absolutely.
And don't take no shit from anybody. Own your power. Don't give up your power to somebody else, either a studio agent, whoever it may be, stand in your power and know who you are.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one last question, and I'll let you go because we're past an hour. That's awesome, by the way. But and you might have actually just said it, but I always like to ask people, their best. I say the best advice, free advice you can give, best four-letter word in the English language, free. But I want you to give any advice to everybody. I'm going to put you on a single screen here. And I don't care if it's about life. I don't care if it's how to make quiche. I don't how to swing a baseball bat. I don't care what it is. It could be acting. It could be anything. But I want you to tell us your pearls of wisdom. If I was to say, hey, Billy Gallo said this to me, and oh my God, it changed my life. What would that be, if you don't mind me asking?
Own who you are. I truly believe that, everybody listen to this. You were created a masterpiece. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Sometimes we get in our head and we have these little stories that we tell ourselves, but it's just a bunch of noise. That's not who you are. You are this beautiful light that's within you, okay? And this talent, if this is your career path, it was given to you. It's your God-given gift. So go and step up and step into your power and shine your light and stay out of your head, because, it's just a bunch of noise. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the people that don't believe in your dream. It's your dream. It was given to you. Follow your dream. Go after it with a vengeance. You got to take massive action in this business. You cannot just, hope somebody's going to come knocking on your door. It's not going to happen. So truly step into your power. Know that this is a gift that was given to you, and all you have to do is go after it like you mean it. And it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's a beautiful ride. And it's a journey. It's not a destination. So, truly step into your power. Don't, worry about what anybody else thinks about you. Be you and own who you are.
Actor Billy Gallo, you can see his Instagram right down below. Of course, his Manhattan acting studio. We're going to give you that information in the story. I'm sorry I didn't have it for the screen. But I truly appreciate you coming on the show, brother. And anytime you have anything that you want to say, you are more than welcome to come on to the show. So thank you very much.
Awesome. So, I want to extend an invitation to you to come on to my podcast, the Hollywood Dreammaker Podcast. I created it to inspire young artists, or old, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, to follow your dreams. And listen, if a kid like me can do it, and I've had 50 guests that had that same dream, that, come from tough backgrounds, that made it a reality. If I can do it, you can do it, they can do it, then that listener out there, you can do it too. Okay. It's possible. Okay. You got to believe that it's possible. So I would love, you have a very inspirational story, and I'd love to have you as a guest on my show.
Oh, I'd love it. What is the email? What's the URL for that?
So Hollywood Dreammaker Podcast. If you go to actor Billy Gallo in my my link tree in my bio, there's a link. Click onto it. It's got all my links to my YouTube channel inside the Manhattan Actor Studio, where I have all the video content of my guests that lives on that. And you can go to billygallo.com. That's BILLYGALLO.com. And that's kind of like the main hub for all of my stuff. It has my podcast. It has my producing stuff. It has my school on there. So, if anybody has any questions, or, this is your path and you don't know how to get started, well, that's what I do. I'm the guide. I've been there, done it. And, there are a lot of fakers out there. So listen, if you don't study with me, I don't care. I want you to do your research, look people up, go on IMDb, see what they've done. Okay. Success leaves clues. You want to model somebody's career that actually made, money in this business. Right. I mean, I'm a kid who came out with $200, but I've turned out that $200. I've made millions as an actor. Yeah. And there's not a lot that can say they've made millions as an actor. Now, if that is doable, okay, you just got to know who you are and stand in your power, and then go after your dreams.
Actor Billy Gallo, mentor, producer. I really appreciate it, brother. And I'll just say a new friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'll have you on again, okay?
It's my pleasure. We got to get you on my show.
Absolutely. Hang tight. Don't go away. All right, everybody. Hey, that is the show. I really hope you enjoyed it. What a great interview. I mean, normally, to be honest with you, I don't know if Billy knows this, but I go about a half an hour. I always tell people, I go, well, a half an hour and maybe a little longer if you're riveting. Well, we went an hour and about an hour and 10 minutes. And I could have kept going, to be honest with you. So, the marathon. If you have any questions, of course, you can go to my site, which is actorwillroberts.com, or my Instagram, which is Will Roberts Official, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. Have a good day. Be safe, be well, but most importantly, be successful. Don't let them tell you anything. Keep it here and work from here. All right, everybody, have a good day. We'll see you again soon. Bye.